So, good afternoon. Nice to see you here all. Thanks for the chairman of chair lady, and thank you, Powell, for organizing all this nice meeting here. So today what we are going to talk basically is how we go from sugar to chemicals and how we can support biorefineries. But first of all, let me just take you and guide you through the presentation, what we are going to show you today. So basically, I'm going first of all to show you what is HTE, what HTE stands for, what we can do, where we are based, what we can do, and then what we can offer for our bio clients. And then we are going just to talk about an example that can be something that can be done at our facility. And this would be, in this case, focusing here on sugar cracking or sugar conversion toward chemicals. Then when we start now with HTE, then we see that HTE is worldwide leading provider of technology and services. And that means here we can provide R&D services to our clients. So that means if you had an issue with your R&D, if you'd like to test catalysts, if you don't have an R&D department, if you have something like new kind of feeds that you would like to test, then we can do that for you. We are basically part of BASF, so we used to be startups, and then we are completely 100% part of BASF. But at the same time, we have one firewall between our customers and BASF, so that means we have nothing to do with BASF activities. At the same time, we are center of independent catalyst testing. That means, for example, as a refinery or as biorefinery, if you would like to test different kinds of catalysts, then you came to us. We do catalyst testing for you. We tell you which catalyst is the best catalyst without revealing any private information. Then we are located in Heidelberg in Germany, so it's like 40 minutes from Frankfurt. Then the most important thing is that we are oriented around heterogeneous catalysis. So everything needs to be done where we need heterogeneous catalysis, where we need process optimization. This can be done at HTE. And here we are talking about basically a huge amount of units. Each unit has different numbers of reactors. So basically we are talking here about more than a reactor unit. The unit can contain between 4 up to 64 reactors at the same, where we can do the reaction at the same time, and we are talking about 350 people. So in total, what we are doing is high throughput experimentation for our clients. Our units looks like the photo that we've seen here, and what we do normally for our customers, that's first of all, our task is to reduce the time to the market, and this is very important from when we are talking about biorefinery, when we are talking about bio-related business, because now the change is coming and we need to take the wave and we need to be fast. And HTE can provide you in this case with this tool. And most important point as well, that many of the biorefinery or even normal petrochemical industry, they are now considering biogenic feed. And that means here we can support these refineries to test different kinds of feed, to have a co-processing, for example, of different kinds of feeds or different kinds of catalysts, because we all know that the catalysts that we have at the market at the moment, they are basically targeting the petrochemical industry, and the biggest question would be in this case, would this catalyst fit for such a new chemistry or new kind of innovation? And third point or fourth point here, we are talking about optimizing an existing process or making something from scratch. So if you have a process that you've been running for ages and now it's time to change, to have some kind of innovation in, then we can help you in doing that. Or for example, if you find a very nice publication but you don't know if it's doable or not, then we can start with a proof of concept study to show you the visibility of such a thing. In the end, we are basically an door opener for products and for different kind of processes. So here in total, we have like a kind of toolbox that can be used to accelerate the R&D. But the most important point that this can be used as well for bio applications. And in the third slide here, we see two photos that's basically showing the problem that we are living at the moment. So the problem that we are sick. We are addicted to oil and we need to stop that, and we need to move to something else. We need to look for alternatives. And we need to move fast because we don't have a lot of time. And this is the idea where we need to move from fossils toward biomass. And the biggest question would be, in this case, how we can support our customer with their transition. And to be able to do that, I'm going now to show you a few slides about sugar chemistry, because this can be a very attractive topic and very attractive feedstocks here. We know all that when we are talking about sugar, then we are either talking about first generation or second generation biomass. When we talk about sugar as a chemical material, then we have different possibilities here. We have defunctionalization, we have cracking, we have upgrading, we have fermentation. Each single process, it has its own pros and cons, and it depends what is your target product here. Of course, the dream reaction of every single one, so here I'm not going to tell you we see the huge numbers of sugar that we have, so we are very great in making sugars, basically. But what we need to focus on, basically, is to target the non-food sugar, so the lignocellulosic sugar, or sugar coming from wastes. And what I'm going to tell you today, basically, is the cracking of the sugar. Why cracking? Because basically when we start with these nice functional molecules here, then we can go to more complex chemistry, and that's what we are very good at. So normally when we are in petrochemical industry, we start with the small molecules like CO and H2, and then we build polymers, we build something big. In biomass, it's totally different. We start from lignocellulosic material, then we try to go to more selective chemistries. And that's exactly why cracking could be a nice option for us, because then we are creating these small functional molecules where we can build on later on. Just a small comparison between the two different technologies. So here when we talk about sugar fermentation, we start from sugar, ethanol, ethylene, then ethylene oxide, and then we can go to ethylene glycol. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 processes. We are losing CO2 during this process. So now when we go to sugar pyrolysis, nevertheless, we can see here that if we've been able to find the right technology, then we can go directly from C6 directly to C2C3 aldehydes, and then these C2C3 aldehydes can be hydrogenated, for example, toward glycol. Here we are talking about 1-2 processes. So here you see how we can change the rules of the game to be able to produce these nice functional chemicals that can be used as monomers. So what I'm trying to show you here now, that with the right technology, or with, of course, the support of HTE, we can try to tackle down this issue here. And that's mean we need to write the fine technology, fine temperature, the right feedstocks and the right catalysts. So we have all of these factors that need to be tuned to be able to achieve the goal that we are aiming to. And this is exactly the point. So here in the next slide, I'm going to show you, for example, the different technologies that we offer and how this technology can be applied for sugar cracking or for sugar conversion. So we have 3 different technologies that we can offer at HTE. So the first one is the high throughput batch system. So normally this kind, if we are going to talk on proof of concept study, like a tank kind of reactors, 8 reactors, they can be operated in oxygen-free, water-free mode. You can do homogeneous, heterogeneous kind of catalysis. Just very small study. We run 8 reactions per day, all at the same conditions, online, offline analytics, per week, 40 reactions, 200 samples, no issue. Next technology, we have the fixed bed. In the fixed bed, we are one step closer to industry. That means here we are going to talk in continuous setup. On the continuous setup, we can go, in this case, either gas phase or liquid phase. We can go up, downstream, or opposite way. We can go single phase or single reactor or sequential mode reactions. And last but not least, we have as well the newest member of our family, which is a minimized FCC unit. So basically, it's a unit as big as the biggest fridge that you've seen in your life. And in this unit, you can basically mimic your FCC process. That means the catalyst can be heated up, the catalyst can do the magic in the reactor, and after that, you can collect your products. So what I'm going to show you today basically is the examples doing sugars on batch and in fluidized bed. When we talk about projects at HTE, nevertheless, we need always to think about how we do that with our customer, where we can start with. So we don't, for example, if my customer come to me and tell me, okay, I would like to do sugar conversion, I don't tell him, okay, then let's start with an autoclave. That doesn't really make sense. So first of all, we start with a brainstorming session. We start to define what kind of requirements, what kind of system, what kind of target. Then we do with the next step, which is catalyst synthesis or catalyst filling. So we have our own dedicated team, 8 people. Their only job is only to fill reactors to be able to be tested on our units. Then we do the catalyst screening part where we do this competitive catalyst testing, or when we do test of different kind of feedstocks, or where we as well, for example, see poisoning, stability study, so all of this stuff here. And in the end, we try to have an online, offline analysis, integration of all of these results, characterization of the catalyst. So that means we try to give a meaning for the whole story. So that means our customer will not only get numbers, but he will get significant results that make sense to him. So when we now look on this slide here, we see the nice 8-fold reactor system. So this is the batch system. And here you see where we are going to mix normally between the methodology, between the technology, and between the chemistry itself. So here we are using design of experiments. We are using high throughput experimentation, 8-fold. We're using sugar as a feedstock, only water sugar. Catalysts, we see 2 catalysts, 2 feedstocks, 2 gases, and then we try to understand the chemistry behind. And here, when we talk about batch system, so basically we are talking about long contact between the reactant and between the catalyst. So this is something to keep in mind. When we look now on the outcomes coming from the reactor, then we see here in all cases, we don't really have a cracking because we have basically long time, and at the same time we are limited in temperature. We can go with a high temperature with such technology. But this technology can be useful for you if you are targeting hydrogenation of the sugar or isomerization in this case. So here we see that the technology is a key factor to be able to know exactly what kind of compounds are you targeting. Now let's change the technology and see what will happen. When we change the technology here, we see that we have here our micro downflow unit. So we have something we call hopper, the upper side. We heat up our catalyst, 700 degrees C. We let our catalyst fall down from up to bottom. Then we spray our sugar and water, and then the magic will happen within 0.5 seconds. 0.5 seconds and very high temperature will be enough to do the magic to crack my sugar to go from C6 to C2 chemicals or to C3 chemicals. So very interesting, very important point to take in consideration. The only thing you need to do in this case is basically to tune your catalysts. I mean, here, of course, we have at HDE the tasks to tune all of these factors, like the temperature of the hopper, the nozzle, what kind of nozzle, what kind of contact time, how long the contact time will be, and so on and so forth. But for you, the most important answer you are asking for is basically, what is my product and what is my catalyst of choice? Then what we see here on the left side, we see a reaction network analysis. So based on this technology, you see how we are going to understand the chemistry, what's going on the surface of your catalyst, how you can tune the chemistry to your favor. So for example, we see that we have isomerization, we see that we have retroaldol reaction, we see that we have cracking. So basically we are moving from C6 to C4, C3, C2, C1. The presentation takes 15 minutes, the reaction takes 0.5 seconds. So very, very fast reactions, all of this chemistry happening within very, very short time. On the right side, we see here a comparison between different kind of processes, thermal process, catalyst 1, catalyst 2, and if we really want to have a lot of catalyst inside the process. So here we see, for example, that when we are using the right catalyst, we can get only C2. Why C2? That will be shown next slide. But when we are going to optimize the process, we might be able even to get more and more of selectivity or high selectivity, high productivity toward the product that we are looking for. Why is that important for us at all? It's important because when we are going to get this C2, C3 chemistry, then we have the door open to do even further kind of chemistry. Then we can do hydrogenation, then we go to ethylene glycol, to propylene glycol. We've seen today morning an example about that. We can do oxidation. That means basically you have carboxylic acids, you have alcohol, then we have polyesters. So basically the door is widely open. You can also do reductive amination. So as soon as you produce these kind of chemicals with a high selectivity, then the door is open. What we've been able to achieve here is only one reactor can do the magic going from C6 to C2 chemicals. With that, I've been able to show you today, or I hope I've been able to show you today and convince you today that with these two technologies that we have a great hope to show sugar conversion. But what we are targeting now is to move even to fixed bed systems. So now we are going to run the sugar on the fixed bed system and see how that will affect the products. So this is still undergoing. Last but not least, with HTE toolbox, we have, as I said, all competitors under one roof, including different kinds of technologies. I've shown you here that we can test different kinds of catalyst, one-to-one testing, and I hope that I've been also to show you that the catalyst that we have can be done at HTE, can be synthesized, or we can purchase or have different kinds of catalyst provider that can give you catalyst and can do the screening for you. And last but not least, we always targeting doing reaction with high efficiency and at the same time with high credibility. With that, I would like to thank you all for your kind attention. Thank you very much.